Hello everyone, Linda Israel here, and I'm going to show you my version of an altered paperclip using a page out of a book. The page is probably, it looks like 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5, 5 by 7.5. You know, any size really will work. You can just kind of gauge once you get started if you want a bigger page or a smaller page. So here's what I like to do. Take a book page, and it doesn't really matter which way you fold it. I like to fold it in half from top to bottom. It's called what they call hamburger style, okay? And then I'll take this and fold it again. Since this has this writing here, I'm going to fold it this way because I don't want that to be seen on the front. And I'm just going to fold it in half again. So here's the base that I'm going to work with. So the next thing I'm going to do is I've got my paint tray here and just some cheap craft paint. And I'm going to put a little bit in my paint tray. I've got a couple to do, so I'm going to do this one on camera and then I'll do a couple more off camera. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to take the paint and just kind of dip it in that, take the card and dip it in the paint. And then I'm just going to spread it over this piece of paper. I'm not going to worry about the back side because it's really not going to be seen. I just want to concentrate on the front. So I'm just going to go in here and coat the whole thing. And I may do another coat, but I'm going to let that dry while I work on a couple others, and then I'll be right back. So I've just put one thin coat on here, and I think once it dries, it'll be enough. So what I'm going to do next is use my heat tool and dry these. I'm going to clean up my paint, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the piece of paper that's been painted is dry, and sometimes when you put paint on paper, it can curl a little bit. So I want this to be somewhat flat for my next steps. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to take tacky glue, white glue, you can use tape, whatever you prefer, and I'm going to glue this closed so that it won't be curled anymore. I like doing this technique on book pages because it's just a neat, quick way to add some color and have a neat embellishment. So I'm going to use my bone folder and just kind of press on the back side and smooth out that glue, and it'll help push it to the edges so that this piece becomes one piece. Alright, so there is my piece that I'm going to use. So the next thing I'm going to do is I've got the stamp set. It's called Shabby Stitches. I have it in my shop. The link is below, and it's 4 different stamps that have the look of sewing machine stitches. So I've picked one. It's a zigzag, and I've just got some black. This is Brilliance Graphite Black. I like it because it's a very opaque paint or ink, and I have a refill for it. So use whatever your favorite black ink is. And here's what I'm going to do. I've got a scrap piece of paper underneath, and I am going to just line this up with the edge, and we're going to do faux stitches. See there? So it gives a look of stitches. I'm going to do that on all 3 of the other sides. So I'll even kind of line it up with the first one. Don't you think that looks cute with the stitches on there? Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I want to attach my paper clip. Some people like to have the big portion on the inside and the little portion on the outside. Whatever way you prefer it, I like to put the little portion on the inside so that I have more of a paper clip to grab onto the paper. And if I want, I can slip things on the other side of my journal. So that's in the middle. And what I'm going to do now is put a generous amount of glue down the center of that paper clip, around the paper clip, and then I'm going to close up the sides here, across the bottom and across the top. Kind of do a little zigzag in the middle. So that'll be a nice amount of glue inside there. It's not a crazy amount, but enough that when you stick these together, it will stay stuck together. Then I'll just press these together, and then what I like to do is lay it flat on my table and push into the paper clip, and what that does is takes that paper and pushes it to the front. If you do it from the front, then you'll end up with a divot. And you may not want that depending on the design that you have in mind for your altered paperclip. So I've got that all smoothed out. The next thing I'm going to do is I've got some distress ink here, and I'm just going to apply it to the edges. So anywhere that I didn't get paint, and it'll also kind of give it that vintage distressed look. I'm using walnut stain. I don't know if I said that. And while I have the distressed ink out, I have an element from the Radiant Red Creative Box, which is also in my shop. So I've already cut this out. I used my silhouette to cut it. And I'm just going to go around the edges where the white paper kind of shows through. Okay, so I've got the distressed ink around there. Now I'm ready to start decorating. I've got some eyelash yarn or trim that is also in the Radiant Red Creative Box, and I'm just going to cut a little piece of it. I don't need a whole lot, and I'm kind of loop it onto this base so it kind of sticks out just a little bit, so you kind of see the fluffiness behind that ticket. And then what I'm going to do is adhere down this ticket on top. So I've got a nice generous amount of glue on the little ticket. And then I'm going to press that down into the center. I have some words here. So this is remember. I have a little set of them. These are in my shop. They're called white words on black. And so it's white paper. And because it has a white core, I'm going to take some black soot distress ink and go right around the edge just to cover up that white spot. And I'm going to adhere this down using the Scrap Perfect, the best glue ever, with the large no clog writing cap, because it puts precisely the amount of glue that I need and it doesn't get too much that can kind of squish out. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the back side here. My bottle is almost empty. Alright, and I'll put this down. I think I'm going to put it, I'll put it right in the center here. I've got a few sequins out here that I know I want to attach. So what I'm going to do is put some dots on here where I want to put the sequins. So I think I want to put one here. I'll put one here. And I'll put one up here. And then I know I'm going to put a little bow on here that I'll show you in just a moment. So I'm going to put it up here. So I'm just going to put a little dollop of glue right there. The Scrap Perfect glue, what it'll do is it will stay tacky even after it's dry, and putting it on here ahead of time gives a little bit more time for it to set up. Have you ever tried to put something down on wet glue and it just comes right back up? Well, letting it set for a little bit helps. Also in the Radiant Red Creative Box is this really cute twine. And I thought what I would do is just tie a little bow. So I'm just using my fingers and tying a little bow. And I'll kind of tweak it by pulling the ends, getting it the size I want, and tie it. And then I'll just cut off the excess. And we're going to lay that right on top of that glue. That. And then I'm going to use Embelly Jelly, which is also by Scrap Perfect. And what it is this little glob of stuff. It comes in this little container that you can put on the end of this stick. So I'm just kind of working it in my hands, and it's sticky. So now when I pick up the sequin, which, you know, sometimes they're hard to hang on to, I can then just press it to the glue. And if I need a little help with the stick, I can push it down. And I guess I have glue on the top side now. And then I'll do that with all of these little sequins. It makes it so much easier to maneuver, because sometimes sequins are so small. Like that. And then I just put mine back into the package, and it stays good for a really long time. Whenever it starts to lose its stickiness, then I'll get another one. But I've used this for months and months. It'll last a very long time. Well, there is my altered paperclip that I made. And let me zoom out and I'll show you the others that I made too. So I made 3 of them in this session that will look really cute in my journal. So there's the paperclip on the back side, and whenever you want to attach it, you can just slip that on like so, and it'll work in your journal. It could be a bookmark, whatever you want to use it. I think they're kind of cute to give as a gift. Put them inside a greeting card or birthday card or thinking of you card, and then they can have it to remember or treasure the day. If you have any questions, let me know. Comment below. Check out the description box for the products that I used today and my blog post. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. You can subscribe, hit that notification bell at the top, and let's see what else. Come to my Facebook groups as well, where lots of people are sharing wonderful things. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fabulous day with lots of love. Bye.